With regards to the sources of the conflict, in addition to the human needs theory, I would like to add a couple more. One is related to the conflict dynamics theory. Once you are in the conflict, you're more likely to be polarized because you will more likely to focus on your contentious relationship. And this will lead to the escalation of the conflict. Because you find out there is an incompatibility of the goal with the other party, and then when you find such an incompatibility, you try to win over the other because you believe that your claims are legitimate. Often, if you're in conflict, you fail to see from the perspective of the other side. So, if parties try to achieve their own goals, it ends up with escalating the conflict. Herbert Kellman introduced the element of social psychology, and he argues when people are in conflict, demonization will happen. Basically, we are a good people. It is very difficult to harm others. So you need a legitimate reason to harm others. In order to do so, for example, you point at the opponent that opponents are evil. They are demons. They have committed massive atrocities, so they need to be punished. Something like this psychological process will help people to be violent. At the same time, when you are in conflict, you're more likely to be feeling that you are the only victims in the conflict. You see the other side is the problem, and you are the victims. So there's nothing wrong with you. But once you're in such a psychological mentality, it will be very difficult for you to come up with a mutually acceptable solution. So this is one of the psychological hurdles against the amicable resolution of the conflict. Also in the conflict, because your line of communication is quite limited, you often fall into misperception of others and perhaps misperception of yourself also. And even in a peaceful setting, when we have cultural differences, we have misunderstandings. When you are in conflict, you are more likely to see the other side is a kind of evil. So you are not ready or you are not willing to listen to others, and you are not willing to discover the reasons behind their claims. Or sometimes the politicians have to make a claim towards their domestic audiences. Or sometimes as a leader, you cannot be seen as a weak figure, and sometimes engaging in negotiation is seen as your sign of weakness. So sometimes even the leaders feel that they need to have some kind of a negotiated settlement. They are more likely to say something that you are ready to defeat the others, or you are ready to fight the war, for example. In addition to these obstacles, there's other obstacle, maybe called entrapment. Entrapment includes something like political commitment, your prior statement. For example, if you want to agitate your people to engage in a war, you may say that the others are evil. They have violated our rights. They have raped our girls. They have killed innocent people. But such a statement becomes a hindrance when you find it necessary to negotiate with them, because you label them as evil, and you cannot negotiate with evil because you claim that these evil have to face justice. Also, you have a political entrapment. Imagine that you have invested your times, resources, human resources particularly. If people have been already sacrificed, been killed in the war, it is very difficult for them to stop the war. It is very difficult to accept the sacrifice of those people who already died unless you have a complete victories. Your political opponent may criticize you, saying that you have wasted precious sacrifice of our fellow citizens. When we analyze the conflict, in addition to the sources of the conflict, we need also take into consideration of the obstacles